Mhm.
All right, another week up, another week down. What is going on, old man? Back for another one. I guess it's your week, so we can somewhat be enthused, I
Yeah,
suppose. Um,
yeah,
so
yeah. So, really, really. But no, no. On a serious note, I'm talking about the Montgomery Brawl. Um, some aspects of it, but the thing I want to say is I'm glad nobody got seriously hurt or injured during that incident. But what I want to focus on is the fact that they there was an incident. Um, people saw a need. They they addressed the issue, and nobody got hurt seriously or anything like that. And everybody's with their families and things like that. But what I want to say is that effort is what I want to talk about, and the fact that that effort needs to be used to address the issues in our community.
mm,
We deal with, you talk about domestic violence, you talk about murders, and not having people um, come forward and give information when needed. And that Montgomery Brawl showed that what you can do if you work together. And nobody got hurt,
mm,
seriously, but it could have went left. But the fact that a group came together and worked together to help someone, that's what we need to do in our community. I see a lot of other um, podcasts and people out there talking about, trying to pick a side thing, us against them or things like that. No, no. We should use that effort to fix the problems in our community. And it shows that if you work together, you can get things done. And we're not doing that in our community. Um, I don't know how you see it, but that's what I got from it.
well, to comment on what you're saying about the other podcasts and I guess YouTubers or however you want to put it, this was something I've learned throughout the years is that you can't always stay neutral.
Mm.
You have to pick a side eventually for something. Um, so I get why they're doing it, catering to whatever audience they have and everything like that. Um, and we've talked about this before, as far as like community and stuff like that. Specifically with our community, it's like crabs in a barrel. So yes, occasionally you'll, and yeah, I know this is gonna suck to hear the people that are listening, but this feels like one of those one-offs, as they put,
I hope.
like a one-off, and then it just goes under the rug, and we go back to the status quo of everybody trying to fend for themselves essentially. But I mean, at the same time, you can't sit there and look out for someone else if you can't take care of yourself. It's a very complicated it's a very
It is.
complicated thing. But
Absolutely.
but
You
yeah.
know, you looking at, like you said, pick a side or whatever, things like that. But when you're your own enemy, you need to fix that. You need to fix what's going on in the community. Don't don't look at some outside when inside is all messed up.
Mm.
You know, why worry about outside when everything inside is messed up? So you I just it showed that if you work together and and focus on the issues in your own community, in your own in your own community, you could fix a lot of these problems and working together and take a stand saying we're not going to accept this anymore. We're not going to accept drive-by shootings. We're not going to accept drugs sold on our streets. We're not going to accept, domestic violence, you know, things like that. You can do it, but it doesn't. It's not like you said. This is a one-off because it was something else, but you need to have this veracity in your own community. You need to say, "Hey, I'm not going to take this anymore," and we're not having that. And like you said, it's probably here today, gone, got tomorrow, and it's done. But I think that it showed that if you work together, you could fix the problems in your community. You could fix the issues going on right next door. You don't have to wait for somebody else to do it. You don't have to wait for the government to come up with a new law that say you got this, or you don't have to wait on the police department to get there to fix these problems.
Right. And I just thought about something else, and it doesn't really relate to what was going on there, but it did make me think about, trying to do the right thing and trying to do something nice. Um this happened in the news probably like last week or something like that. A very prominent Twitch streamer, Kai Sanat, was giving
Oh yeah,
away,
New York.
yeah, giving away. He was trying to do something and trying to do something good for the community. And then look what happened. Look how that turned out. It ended up being a riot because people don't know how to act when they're out. And
Ish.
but that's what I'm saying, to tie it into what you were talking about as far as being a unit, being a community, is that when people get together, it seems like someone's always trying to tie it also into it goes into so many layers, to tie it into that other podcast we did as far as that 15 minutes of fame. Someone is always trying to get noticed when they're out there in a group, so they'll throw something, or cause a ruckus or whatever the case may be, causing people to not be civilized when there's a gathering of people together in like public spaces and things like that. So I think if we can manage to get past that hurdle, I think it would make it easier to do the stand up portion that you were referring to, as far as um stand up to the drugs and guns and everything like that.
Right.
But until we until we get that first piece out the way, I don't think that's going to occur for the most part.
Yeah, especially when and like you pointed out, and it's that small percentage. You are like saying this group, it's the percentages I thought it was. You saying those numbers were smaller.
Mhm.
So with that being said, if we're the majority, we can fix it. We just have to stand. So just like at that situation where that guy, that influencer, was offering PlayStations or something like that out there, and it wasn't everybody doing it. It was just a couple people. They could have addressed that issue right there. They had enough people there to fix that problem, but they didn't. It snowballed.
Really quickly too. It
Snowballed.
wasn't. It
Right.
wasn't like a
Right.
yeah.
It snowballed.
Hmm.
So what I'm saying is, if the numbers are there, the problem could be fixed.
Right. No, I don't doubt that. It's just I
Why
don't.
does it snowball?
I don't think somebody wants to be the first to. I don't think there's a lot of people that want to be the first to do anything in a lot of situations, because you're often the one scrutinized the most, or something may happen to you. Like if you're gonna stand up to that rambunctious group, Like somebody may see you, but I'm just speaking in what ifs at this point. You stand up to that group, let's say, for the New York stuff, right? You're the first person to start that. They beat you up.
Not beat you up, just detain you.
No, no, no. I'm saying you're saying it's snowball because nobody contained it, right? What I'm
Right.
saying is a lot of people don't want to be the first person to act on something like that
Hmm.
because of the implications that it could have as far as their well-being or whatever the case may be.
Hmm.
So I'm saying if you were the first person to step up and those 3 or 4 people they beat you up, I mean, yeah, some other people may help, but a lot of people tend to just mind their own business for the most part, and it just
But why they
continues
didn't
to.
do it in this situation?
Let me say what?
They didn't do it in the Montgomery situation.
Right, like I
And,
said.
you see the end result. Nobody got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody could go home and let the law work its course.
But let's
But
let's let's be honest here. How big, how well known is Montgomery compared to New York, New York City, or an LA or something? I feel like, and I may be wrong here. I feel like Montgomery is one of those towns where everybody knows everybody, and that's why it works in that situation. I know Montgomery's probably a little bit bigger than what I'm giving it credit for. I understand that, but you don't hear people talking about Montgomery as far as like one of those big name places. And I feel like in those kind of instances, like if you go to Des Moines or one of those like a Des Moines or what's another one? Um I can't think of another one. Maybe like a what's another city you can think of like Mississippi or something like that. But you understand what I'm saying though.
oh, man, Mobile.
Yeah. Well, Mobile that.
Well, it's Alabama, but Mississippi. I don't know.
But
But
but you
but
but you understand what I'm saying though, as far as.
right, right. But the thing is, the like you said, it's one off. You look at it as possibly a one off, and I see it as possibly the groundwork for how to address the issues in the black community. Is issues that does not relate to race or anything that need to be dealt with a group willing to fight for their community and their families.
Mhm,
Stop looking for an enemy when you know the enemy is within.
mhm,
If you're willing to fight the outside, if you feel that's your enemy, then be willing to clean your house too before you start going out there, because that hey, things going to move on and your house is falling apart.
mhm,
Work on your house. I saw, excuse me, I saw an opportunity. I saw the groundwork for fixing the problems in the black community.
mhm,
I did not see a racial bias thing here.
mhm,
I saw the groundworks of fixing. This is how you fix the problems in your community. As a group, focus on not taking any more of this nonsense.
mhm,
We're not going to allow this to happen down the street. We're not going to allow this to happen in our community, or we're going to build a community.
mhm,
You know, I'm just saying that's what I saw, but I know other people want to look at it another way,
mhm,
but that's what I saw. And I think that should be the focus or the spark
mhm.
that that incident ignite.
Right. Now,
Not separation, not saying this is the enemy. This is more of let's focus on the problems in our community.
and I hear you on that, and this goes to another one that was pretty prominent. The whole police brutality thing, right? Where we were trying to stand together, to stop that, and of course, it got derailed in plenty of different directions with different agendas going on about that, right?
Mhm.
So I hear you on what you're saying. It's just like, okay, we stand together to try and do good, but there's always going to be a subgroup of that original group that wants to have their own agenda and do something else. So there's no real way to to unify and stay consistent. I would say is the main thing. Stay consistent because just like I said, I felt like with the whole police brutality thing, it was solely focused mostly on Caucasian police officers. And then
Absolutely,
we
it was.
go down the road.
Why?
We go down the road and find out that a brother was beat up and killed
Yeah,
by
killed.
six black officers. So it's just like
That's right.
it's just I hear you. I just feel like it's going to be
Mhm.
one of those things that's going to be near impossible unless you just have a hive mind community. Like you just got to implant everybody with the chip and just control. Because
And I wish it was that easy because
I,
I would invest in that chip and I would implant it in everybody else. But I was basing it. I'm looking at how you look at it.
mhm,
You and now how you're saying is more good than bad, right?
mhm.
Why does bad override good so much?
Because bad
Why?
always gets the press. You know this. Every bad always gets the
Absolutely.
press and
Bad
the news and
bad sells.
every
Bad
yeah,
sells.
exactly. You know this. Like just like I said with the whole Kai thing, they didn't say anything about what he was doing. Oh, he just incites a riot. It was like he was trying to give away PlayStations, to people people that were in his following or whatever, which is commendable. However, you went about it the wrong way, in my personal opinion. But they
Oh yeah, yeah.
just basically just pushed that part underneath the rug and just said that, oh, he incited a riot in New York. Okay.
Oh,
So,
but the thing is, why is that the outcome? Other people can gather, and
mm,
I'm not trying to compare apples, oranges, and things like that. But other people can gather, and none of this happens
mm,
because it's not enough people stopping it. We got to learn to take action when it's needed. Why do we take action only certain times? That's a problem. That's a problem. When you pick and choose when to act,
mm,
you should act all the time. Any wrong, anything. Doesn't matter who does it. It's time to stand. Don't pick and choose when to stand. If you're going to stand, stand for right. Why are we picking and choosing?
because it's whatever suits my needs at the time. You know this. It's whatever suits my needs at the time. That's
That's
why I'm
sad.
picking and shoot.
That's sad. And that's why we keep getting what we get.
Mm-hmm.
And, we had an incident and people stood and it worked out okay. Nobody got hurt. Nobody got seriously hurt or anything. That's what happens when you stand. But we got to stand in our own community. We got to fix the problems in this community because it's getting out of hand. People are dying constantly from killing one another for nothing. Families, single families, the family structure is gone, totally gone. It's like it's a mother and a father together. It's almost unheard of. It's not even the norm. We got to get back to the basics. We got to stand and stop picking enemies outside when we know we got the enemies in house. If we can stand outside and fight, Why can't we fix the problems inside and take that same stance? If they're more good than bad.
It's not the cool thing to do. I'm not gonna look cool amongst my peers, or
That-
I'm not gonna get the ratings approval I need. Once again, it goes back to self-serving.
Oh
Further,
yeah,
whatever agenda you got.
absolutely. I know people are benefiting from this incident and feeding somebody else's uh ideologies and their narrative and want want to do that. And I know this is hadn't been said by any that I've heard out there pertaining to that situation and what good could come out of it. This is the first. I was shocked because you got educated, proven podcasts out there, doctors and other professions that talked about the situation, news, and they still want to pick that, like you said, pick a side. No, look at what the unity create in unity during that conflict and how it was resolved, and use it in your community to fix it. That was not talked about.
Mm. I mean, I don't know. I'm not really sure what else you want me to say. Like you said, we've seen multiple examples of this throughout the years. They and like I said, it may be disheartening for a lot of people to hear, but this may be another one of those, flash in the pan sort of situation. Oh, you got the coverage, even though it was something good. Once again, the media spun it to make it seem like it was something negative or
Creating a bigger divide,
yep.
creating a bigger divide, and forcing, and like you said, forcing people to pick a side.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not a side to be picked. It was a situation that was handled, but how it was handled is the groundwork of fixing the issues in our community.
Right.
But nobody wants to say that. So we'll go back to minding our own business. I didn't see that. I'm not getting involved. I, oh, the family structure, I don't care about that. We got a lot of issues that we need to deal with. And if we handle it the same way we handle when it's outside issues, like you said, we'll probably be in a better situation. Your lives will be saved. Family structure will be rebuilt. It's, I mean, what do I just I don't understand why there's not enough people saying what I'm saying. And this side picking thing is going on just to get views and just to get let's do the right thing for the right in my life, in my life. And I'm throwing something in. I used to play for I'm just throwing this out there because I because it needs to be said because this is what even in my time, in my community, when I was growing up, I played JV football.
Mm-hmm.
JV football games happen on Thursday nights.
Mm-hmm.
My mom was busy; she could do it. Had other kids, all that. She said, "If you want to play, you got to find a way home." So Thursday nights, I played. If we played away, you came back, or if we played at home. But this didn't happen long, but it did happen a few times. I had to walk. Now, there were parents, there's people in my neighborhood that lived in my neighborhood that went to the games.
Mhm.
After the game, I had to walk home from the football game. Miles. This is not right down the street. I had to walk miles on a Thursday night. Get up for school on Friday, go to school next day. But I had to walk. People, same uniform I got on, passed me going in the same direction I was going. And they picked me up. And then after a while, players who had um, cars started giving me a ride home after the game.
Mhm.
But where's the community? Where's, oh, okay, this young man, he's not out there acting up. Let me give him a ride home. He played. I went to the game. Let me give him a ride home. That didn't happen. Now, I had another incident where I was in school, got in the co-op program in the electronics department, and I got a co-op job at the shipyard in electronics um, group. My friend, his mom, which where uh, was white, came out that way, picked me up, took me to work, took me back, would not accept anything from me, gas or nothing. And if it wasn't for that family, I wouldn't be where I'm at today, possibly. In the field I'm in now. So what I'm saying is the enemy is not based on color or religion. The enemy is the actions of people. It's the actions, is what they do. And I'm saying this because that's why I'm saying what I'm saying. We got issues that we need to fix. It's not based on color of skin.
Well, I would say some of that was probably perception, but I hear what you're saying. Some of it was probably perception. They're like, why are you giving a ride to that boy or whatever the case may be?
But they did it.
Hmm? No, no, no. I'm
They did it.
saying like the people that were driving past you earlier, like
Right.
later on when you got rides, I understand that because they had their own car, they can do whatever as the
That's right.
times were progressing. At one family, just were decent people to do that for you. They were doing the right thing, as you would say.
That's right.
But I would say most of that was probably perception because it was still a rough time back probably when you were playing in the
Yeah,
1920s playing JV football. But yeah, a lot of tension and friction and stuff still going on.
but I never experienced that as much as I see it today.
Mm,
It probably was there, but we didn't live like that. We didn't live like that. And the youth now, I can see a deterioration in the values that we had back then, even back then. And I mean, it's not that far, but what I'm saying, even back then, look how far we've fallen from the values from before. You know, like they said, even the thugs had a code. No women and children. Shoot, now it's what?
mm.
They don't care. Let it fly. Whatever it hits, it hits.
I mean, for the most part, the only places you're going to get that kind of unity is the brotherhoods is still the sports groups for the most part. Like you're going to see that unity and they're unified front or not as far as I've seen. Um, but there's still, I mean, it is going away from that because now that the younger athletes are able to get $1 million deals before going to college and stuff like that, it's starting to become a me thing. And that's just recently, maybe like the past 2 or 3 years. Give it some time, it'll, like you said, that wall, that whole thing will crumble because everybody will be looking out for themselves, trying to it just like the business side of the NFL. Like people understand it's a business, get your money, whatever the case may be. Like
Mhm.
because they're going to discard you after a certain number of years or whatever. Um, but in college, it's more of the team thing. But now, like I said, now that they're getting money, it's becoming more of the me thing. So they're it. Yeah, I hear you. Like it was a unity thing back when I was playing football in high school and everything like that. So I understand what you mean.
So just real quick, no, this won't have to be long because the topic what has to be said has already been said. But what does the future look like? I
Oh, it's
see.
cooked. I mean, there's no ifs ands or buts about it. It's cooked. There's a lot of stuff just
That's but it could be changed. It could change. That you got to have hope. If we start now, today, like I said, that could be a spark showing what you can do if you work together and nobody gets hurt in the process. You making your community better. You saving lives. You saving relationships. You bringing the family unit back together. I mean, what? Instead of living in fear, living, oh, I'm worried about the repercussions. Or I want to get views. I want to record something instead of act. When man, that's unheard of. You don't call 911 first. You want to record before you call 911 to get that person help. Each second matters in that person's life that probably possibly could be saved. We got to do better and let that be the spark. If you got anything from that incident, let that be it. Instead
I,
of
I'm
listen to
listening to you.
chat,
You got.
we toast, we toast.
Hey,
We toast. We're
it's
done.
cooked.
We're done.
It's cooked. Like I'm seeing. By the time I'm, your age of 84,
Mhm.
yeah, the world will be. Yeah, it's gonna be a totally different
You're gonna be
place.
in trouble. You're gonna be in
I already
trouble.
know I am. Like I already know I am. Like I've seen the writing
Let's
on the
try to
wall.
fix it. Let's
Huh?
try to fix it. That's our goal is try to fix it. That's why we talk about what we talk about.
Try to fix. Okay.
Oh,
There's
get the
too
information out
there's
there.
there's there's too many me's and not enough us. There's too many me's and not enough us. So
But
if you can
you
manage
have
to
to
fix the me's, then maybe we got a shot. But there's too many. There's too much. All team of me, I guess.
yeah, we have to act. We have to fix the issue in the community that we live in. Fix ourselves. Fix like anybody would tell you, the first person to work on is yourself,
Mm-hmm.
right? Don't try to worry about fixing somebody else. You gotta fix yourself. Let this be the spark to start doing that. That's all I ask. I'm done. That's it.
Okay. Okay. Well, I mean, I have nothing else to add to this because, like I said, this seems like we're gonna end up circling the wagons again at
That's
some
right.
point
That's right.
down the road about something else that happened. And be like, hey, remember that time we talked about on the so. But there's really nothing I can say because it's
Well, we're
just
gonna keep
history.
saying it until people start listening. We're gonna keep saying what needs to be said until they hear it.
Be the old man. I mean, you already the old man yelling at the clouds, so I'm not
Well,
entirely.
I'm gonna keep yelling until somebody starts listening. because I can't sit around and keep seeing this and not say anything.
Yeah, get those kids off your lawn.
Please, I just cut the grass. Yeah, that's right. I did it, not somebody, not the lawn company. I cut the grass, so
Right.
I get it. But no, no, I appreciate your time. Good conversation. I wish everyone well who's in that incident, and glad nobody got hurt. I hope everything works out the way it should, and I hope we get the message or the value of what that situation showed, and we use it in our communities.
Yep. I mean, they
That's it. That's basically it.
yep. Well, I hope everyone enjoyed this podcast. You'll be like, man, Tad really didn't have a whole lot to say. I was like, I said what I said. Look, man, I'm tired. I am
Yeah, yeah,
tired.
he would have been the one in New York starting that riot. You know.
I know. Everybody that knows me, I am nope. I observe. I sit there and I look. I'm already 3 to 5
No, I
steps
need you to
ahead.
stop looking and start
No,
acting.
nope. I'm 3 to 5 steps ahead. I'm like, okay, this is what's gonna happen. And it happened. Nah, I'm cool, man. I'm cool.
That's the problem. Everybody looking and not acting.
Mm-hmm. And then I act, and then I'm in the dirt. And then what?
No, hopefully you got a group of people standing behind you if it's right.
Exactly. Yeah,
Standing
but
behind you,
look, when
right.
you're the only one here, you don't have a group of people standing behind you. So sometimes you gotta be aware of your surroundings. That's what
Right.
that comes down to. If you try to step out and you ain't got where everybody at. Where my crew at? Ain't
You
nobody
stand
here.
by yourself. But no, no. But that's what I'm saying. By yourself, you can't do it. You can't do it by yourself. You need everyone around. You need people to help. You have to have it. You can't do it by yourself. That showed you can't do it by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You need help, but we need to work on the right stuff. That's it.
I mean, hey, when it happens, yeah, trust me, I'll be there. I'll be around. I'll be around when it happens. But until then, it's cooked. And that's all I got. And that's all I got to say. That's all I got to say.
Well,
Until next week.
well, all right.
Yeah.
Well, enjoy. Hey, I enjoyed the conversation, and well, I'll listen to whatever you come up with
Yeah,
next.
it's gonna be immaculate. So the people love
Okay.
it. But we'll see you
All
all next
right.
week. Y'all take
Next
care.
week.
We're out of
All
here.
right.
Later.